Hello and welcome back to my channel, where we explore how to develop your soft skills and create the life you desire. Today we're going to talk about a topic that it's a bit hot because it is how to complain effectively. Everyone wants to be a complainer, everyone wants to be able to be justified to be one. So today we're going to understand how to express something that you are not happy about to anyone who is your peer or higher level than you. So someone that you cannot give feedback to, but that you still want to fix things with. The first reason why when we complain, people don't usually take it as well as we would like to, is that no one wants to be wrong. Remember this? No one wants to be wrong. So if you go to a peer and you just say, listen, you should have done that in a different way, it's very unlikely that you will find someone that will be extremely receptive to what you've said. Why? Because unless they are very projected towards their growth and they just want to improve, they will not like to be proven wrong. So this is a dynamic that we need to deal with every day, because anyway, everyone makes mistakes, but no one wants to be proven wrong. Everyone wants to be right, but everyone messes up. So it's very complicated, and there are certain dynamics that we just need to understand in order to be able to work as a team and improve communication, improve results, improve efficiency. So today we're going to understand what steps you need to keep in mind in order to communicate something that you are not happy about to someone. The first thing that I want you to keep in mind though is that in order to do so, your intentions need to be amazingly pure. So when you want to communicate this, it will never be effective if in the moment in which you talk with someone, your goal is to be right. It will never be effective as your purpose is just to tell them that they made a mistake. What is very, very important is to realize that your purpose with that kind of communication is just to find a solution together so that it doesn't happen again, so that we can work better together. And this seems like a very, very easy and almost obvious thing to say, but it's actually one of the main mistakes that people make. And the reason why most communications don't end up the way you would like to. Because if I'm talking with you and I start and I tell you that we need to talk about the mistake that you made, you already will be very defensive. If I start talking with you and I tell you, listen, I would like to discuss the fact that you always ask me this thing, people will just start off with their own foot. So before you even start applying the 5 steps, just to think, okay, what is my intention? Why am I talking? Do I want to vent? Big no, no, no. Or do I want to find a solution together for the future? Am I ready to take my responsibility in this? If I'm not, wait. Because during these steps, I will ask you to take responsibility. So if you are looking for a video where you can just blame others, not take any responsibility, please switch off and move on to another video. If on the other side you want to understand how to really make sure that your communication comes across as pure, authentic, and solution-oriented, then keep listening, because we are going to understand a technique that will change a lot of things in your life. The first step that we need to keep in mind is that very often when we want to talk with someone, what happens is that we just start talking. But maybe that person is overwhelmed by other things. Maybe they're stressed, maybe they don't have time, maybe they're not in the mood. So step 1 is ask for permission. I don't know if you've ever tried to communicate with someone and you were like, I would like to tell you this, and they were very just dismissive. And so your communication didn't go as well as you wanted to because it was not the right moment. Well, you need to keep this in mind. So the best and easiest way is to ask for permission. So what can you ask? You can say, listen, there's something I'd like to discuss with you. When are you free to talk? Or, are you free for 10 minutes now? Are you free for 2 minutes now? Are you free for an hour now? According to how big the situation is. But ask for permission. If they are not free, just schedule a moment to talk with them. Of course, there will be 2 different kinds of complaint that you want to make. Maybe at times it's about something very, very small. Maybe your partner didn't throw the bin when they should have, according to your agreement, and so you just want to say, listen, remember please. On the other side, other times it could be something very, very, very deep and important, and maybe the relationship could depend on that conversation. So according to that, make sure you account for the right time. Step 2 is to state facts as they are, not opinions, yes, facts. So not, I really feel that you're a bad person, or you shouldn't do that. it was a mistake to behave like that. All of these, no, okay? Yes, you can say, for example, I want to talk about that project that we dealt with and how the last 3 days went. This happened. Only facts that cannot be argued. This is very important. Why? Because if you talk with people and you already put them in a defensive mode, you are not going to find a solution with them. If you start and you say, you always behave like this, I'm pretty sure that they don't always behave like this. You're already putting them in a bad mood. They're already going to be defensive. You need to remember in your mind that everyone wants to be right. So you need to give them a way out. Otherwise, for them, it will be very hard to admit to what they've done. So initially, you just need to state facts that there's no possibility of discussing about. You can't argue those facts. It's just what happened. Okay, and say it in a way that's welcoming. Your energy is very important, because if you go and you say, we need to talk. So, are you free now? Yes. You didn't throw the bin. Maybe the heaviness of the situation is not really related to the heaviness of the conversation, okay? So just align it, okay? But you want to state facts in a way that the person cannot deny. And it's not like you're right or wrong, it's just what happened. At that point, we need to move on to step 3. And step 3 is, it's very, very important and very delicate. So step 3 is express your feelings, so how you felt, by taking responsibility for your emotions. Express your feelings by taking responsibility. So what does it mean? That if, let's say, you asked me last minute to take care of a project, and because of that, we ended up not doing the project well because it was too late, and I also was very, very stressed. If I go and I say, listen, this thing really stressed me out, am I taking responsibility? No. If I say, you made me feel overwhelmed, I'm not taking responsibility. If you say, it was too much and you shouldn't have done it, am I taking responsibility? No. Okay, so take responsibility. And this is something that you need to think about before you talk, because otherwise in the moment it will be very hard. So ask yourself, okay, what actually stressed me out of this? You can say, I felt overwhelmed by the situation because I had other things to take care of as well, and I felt that if I had had more time, I could have done it better. But just knowing it last minute, I didn't manage to, and I'm really sorry because I care about the projects that I work on. Okay, so take responsibility for your emotional state. If you're talking with someone, with your partner maybe, and they really messed up, in your opinion, they did something that they shouldn't have, tell them, not you messed up, but okay, the way I feel is that you didn't respect me. Now, there are different scenarios, because there are situations in which you have an agreement and people break it. In that case, you can say you didn't respect our agreement, but that's in the facts, okay? At that point in the emotions, you can say about how you felt about it. Maybe we're a couple and you cheated on me. At that point, it's not that I don't have to say that you cheated, because that's the fact. It was an agreement and you broke an agreement, okay? But the way I express it at that point, if I'm having that conversation, is because I want to find a solution. If I want to pack my bags and go, I won't even be having that conversation, okay? So if I want to find a solution, I need to remember that I'm here to talk about how I felt, not the mistakes that you made. It's a different thing, okay? So I felt I wasn't respected. I felt you don't care about our relationship. I don't know if it is true, but that's how I felt. That's what hurt me, okay? So always talk about your feelings as feelings and take your responsibility for them. If the situation is something that you had agreed and that was broken, you can say that it was broken. If it's something that is like one of those unspoken expectations, because it's not a rule that you have in your relationship, regardless of the level of relationship that you have, then in that case, even more responsible, because there's no one that has made actual mistakes here, no one that has broken any agreement, but it is simply that we see the world in two different ways. After expressing how I feel, step number 4. Step number 4 is very, very important, because it's what will help us to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And it is that you should state what is at stake. What does it mean? very delicate as well. It's a delicate technique in general, okay? But very delicate as well, because stating what's at stake means telling you what will happen if we don't change this. And what will happen could be either the natural consequence or a decision that I've made. I'll make an example. Maybe if I'm talking with my boss and my boss keeps giving me projects last minute and I don't do them as well as I want to, I can tell them what's the natural consequence. Say, I feel that if I don't have more time to take care of these projects, I won't be able to finish them in time, and we will always find ourselves last minute without being able to revise them, for example. So natural consequence is not like my decision. Other times it will be my decision. So other times it will be, okay, if this behavior doesn't change, I will need to leave. I will need to find a place in another department. I will need to talk with who's in charge of this. So an action that I decide to do if the situation doesn't change. Very important. When you state what's at stake, it's not an empty threat. It's not, listen, either you do that or I will do that. No. It's honestly, authentically, if I realize that with this kind of behavior, I can't tolerate to have it in my life. I can't keep going with you as a couple, with you as a friend, with you as a boss, and so on. I'll tell you. But I'll tell you because I really feel that, and I don't tell you in an angry way. I'm just saying what's at stake, why this matters for me, and why I want to solve it now so that we don't get to those consequences. Never in a way that's like an empty threat, then it means, or like manipulation, like then it means that you don't love me. No, it doesn't mean that you don't love me, okay? it means that maybe you haven't thought about something. So, but for me, it's important to know that I feel loved, okay? Or at work, it depends on the situation, but you always need to make sure that the other person knows why it matters for you, because all of us see the world in different ways. And then at that point, step five is find solutions, propose something, propose how we can solve it, and always with the intention not of being right, but with really the intention of finding solutions together so that in the future this doesn't happen again. By doing this, then we agree on new solutions, we agree on a new plan as a pair, as a team, that we can put in place. And this technique, you will see that at times you apply it on very, very small things, almost in a jokey way, like very, very simple. Listen, you left your bag here, you should have left it there. No, in my opinion, I feel my space has been invaded. So I can say, can we talk for a second? Yes, I noticed, second step, fact. I noticed that you left your bag here on my desk. Fact. Step 3, emotions. I felt that my space was being a bit invaded and I didn't have space to work as well as I could have. 4, what's at stake? If it keeps happening, it will be hard for me to feel respected. It will be hard for me to, it depends on how grave the situation is, of course. No, it's a silly example, but if this keeps happening, I will need to maybe take your bag and put it away myself, and I wouldn't want to touch your bag or whatever. So what solution can we find? Can we maybe create a space where you can leave your bag and I can leave my bag? Okay, silly example. At times it will be on something very, very big, and where what's at stake is the relationship with that person, the job of that person. So it's very, very important to calibrate it, tone it to the situation. It's a technique that needs a lot of emotional intelligence in order to handle it, because you need to take responsibility of your emotional state. You need to understand that the other person is different from you. You need to understand that everyone sees the world in a different way. But once you master this technique, you will see that talking about your feelings and expressing what you feel in order to sort situations before they become huge will be much easier. And it will make sure that you build relationships in which, instead of being passive and holding everything in, you're just talking about what you feel in a way that's not hurtful, it's not manipulative, it's just sharing how you feel in order to find a solution together. Now, I know it's a very complex topic, so feel free to leave a question in the comments below if you have any. And if you want to improve on your assertiveness and on your other soft skills, make sure you watch these other 2 videos here. I thank you so much for watching. Apply, let me know how it goes, and I will see you in the next video.